Hey guys, what we're going to be making here is a simple platform style controller game. Let's go ahead and get started. Alright guys, let's go ahead and get started. First things first, what we have here is a couple assets I got from kennys.com. They have a bunch of free assets. You can use the same ones as me or use your own. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and click on the player, and what we're going to add are two things. First, we're going to add a box collider 2D. Perfect. Make sure to hit the edit collider button to ensure that it's around your player completely. Awesome. Let's go ahead and add a rigid body 2D. Alright. Perfect. Awesome. Alright, another thing we got to add onto one of the items in the game is the ground box collider. So whatever ground you're using, go ahead and click on one of them. I have a bunch of squares here, but I only need to add one box, so I'm going to go ahead and add component. I'm going to add a box collider 2D. Awesome. Now I'm going to go ahead and hit the editor collider, find where it is. It looks like it's all the way over here, and I want to just stretch it out to cover everything. Alright. The other thing I want to do is I want to give it a layer of ground. So I'm going to go ahead, go down here to add layer. I'm going to call it ground. Alright, awesome. Enter. Click on the block again. Make sure it's set to ground. Awesome. The one that has to be set to ground is the one with the box collider. Perfect. Let's go back to the player now. Alright, let's scroll on down here. Go to add component. I'm going to do a script called move s. Alright, create new script. Let's go ahead and create an add. Alright, let's double click on it. Let Visual Studio open up. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and paste my code here, and I'm going to go over what we have. Alright, so the first thing we have right above the void start is a couple variables. We have a private rigid body, RB, then we have a public float, move speed, then we also have a public layer mask, ground layer, we have a public bool on the ground. Awesome. So once you have those variables in here, let's go and jump onto the void start area, and we're going to add one thing here. That's going to be the RB. We want to set that to get component, and then within it we want to do a rigid body 2D and make it look just like that. Awesome. Alright, so last, let's go on down to the void update section, and within it we're going to put a couple things here. First, we're going to declare a vector2 position and equal that to a transform dot position. Okay, then right below it we're going to do a vector2 direction and then equal that to a vector2 dot down. And then of course do a float distance and equal that to 2.0f. Depending on how big your player is in the game, you might have to adjust this number. So for some reason, if your player can't jump, just go ahead and increase that. Or if he's jumping too often, then go ahead and decrease that. You're going to have to play around with that 2.0. Okay, so, but for now, leave it like that. Alright, so now, last, we're going to set a raycast hit 2D equal to physics2D dot raycast. Alright, and then within parentheses, we're going to do the position, comma, direction, comma, distance, comma, ground layer. So this is creating a raycast line that's hitting anything downward, okay, that vector2 dot downward to anything with the ground layer set, okay? So anything with the ground layer, it's going to give it a hit. So if it hits dot collide with anything other than nothing, then it's going to set the on ground bool to true, okay? And that's that bool we have right up there. Alright, if not, then it's going to set it to false. So once our player jumps above the ground, then it's going to set it to false. Once he's on the ground, it's going to make it true. And that's what this if statement's doing right here, okay? So make sure you got all that down there. Now for the controls of the player, we're going to go ahead and do another if statement, do an input.getKey, key code D, alright? And then within it, we're going to do a transform.position plus or equals vector3.right times move speed times time.delta time. So when we press the D button on our keyboard, it's going to make our player go right times the move speed times time.delta time. Alright, similar thing for the one below it. We're going to do an input.getKey, key code A, okay? And with this one, the only thing we're changing compared to the top one is that vector3.left. So this one's moving him right, this one's moving him left. Awesome. And you can adjust your speed by adjusting the move speed, okay? Alright, lastly, we're going to do the jump. So it's a little bit different. We're going to have the same style of input though. We're going to do input.getKeyDown, keycode.space this time, so when we hit the space bar, something's going to happen. But we're also going to put an AND, okay? You have to put two AND symbols here. And we're going to do onGround equals true, because we only want the player to jump when it equals true, okay? Awesome. And then if you go down here, we're going to do a get component, rigid body 2D, all right? Then we're going to do a dot add force, new vector, all right? That's the X value, and this is going to be the Y value, which I'm going to do 7 for my player. You can adjust it to yours, but that's how high he's going to jump. And then we're going to do a force mode 2D dot impulse. So he's going to be like given an impulse when we click the space bar of 7Y. Awesome. So make sure you have all this copied down here in this section. All right, don't forget to save. So you should have your variables, your start method, then you should have your void update method as well. All right, let's jump back into the game now. Let's let that load. All right, scroll on down once you're clicked on the player. Let's adjust the speed. I'm going to set it to 6. Okay. Then select the ground layer. And remember what we made? We made that ground one. So let's go ahead and select that one. Awesome. All right. So let's go ahead and start the game and see what we got. All right. So our player can move side to side. And as you can see, the ground layer is set to true. So let's see if we can jump. I'm hitting the space bar. There we go. Awesome. So our player can move around and now jump just like a platform game. All right. Awesome. So that's it for this video. I'll see you next time.